This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Hello to everybody. Welcome to another edition of Libertas. Itos Magsaysay and Pompi Lavinia are not available tonight. This is Tonino Abana, the original host of Libertas, and I'm happy to bring this show to you tonight. Our topic is quite interesting and timely. It's social media in the era of fake news. And here to discuss this topic with me and all the aspects of the topic are two very young lawyers, millennials, and obviously practitioners of social media as well as the law. To my right is a regular of this show, Attorney Tanya Lingat.
Hi, Tony. Good evening. Hello to everyone. Good evening also.
And to her left is Attorney Gato Abana.
Hi.
Gato. So, yesterday there was a Senate hearing and there were a couple of interesting discussion that happened there. The resource person was actually Mocha Uson, as well as Mr.
Nieto.
Thinking Pinoy, yeah, Mr. Nieto. What did you think of that hearing, Anya?
Well, I haven't really watched the hearing yesterday, so I cannot give insights on
Okay.
what happened yesterday. I think, did you?
No.
Okay, let's start off by going into social media. There's a saying that social media is the ultimate equalizer because it gives a voice and a platform to anyone willing to engage.
Yes, actually, people from walks of life, different walks of life, and all ages can how do you say this? They can express themselves through social media, whether it be good, whether it be a bad experience, whether it be something motivational or inspirational. They can address and express themselves through social media.
Suddenly, this great equalizer thing, you have traditional media, which is basically TV, you have newspapers and radio, and then you have new media or social media. But all of a sudden, this great equalizer is making both social media and traditional media at par, almost at par with each other. Just to give you an example, the Mocha Uson blog has 5.3 million followers. Mr. Nieto's Thinking Pinoy has 764 million thousand followers. And then our friend Pompi Lavinia Dutertista has 1.44 million followers. If you compare that to the Inquirer, which is a very established newspaper, in their Facebook page has 3.4 million followers. Philippine Star has 1.7 million followers. So you're seeing an era where social media followers are now almost at par or equal to new media. Now my question is this: should we subject social media to the same legal boundaries of traditional media? Or are there legal boundaries that can control social media?
Well, I think they already are subject to the regular restraints on free speech. However, there are no real boundaries on what they can say other than if they cross the line, like when they commit a crime through libel, whether it's online or in any other arena.
Yes, actually, we have laws that limits the freedom of speech, such as Cybercrime Prevention Act, also the Anti-Voyeurism Act, and cybercrime, such as cyber libel and all crimes related to cyber.
Yeah, so um, because the thinking is traditional media is actually controlled
Yes.
because there are regulations like the MTRCB and other laws, NTC, to control them. So they're bound by these regulations. But social media, although you're saying that there are laws that bind them, but actually people are not really aware that there are legal boundaries to the
Well,
law.
the difference between the traditional media and the social media, these are entities, yung mga traditional media natin, these are entities that are bound dun sa mga regulations na
So
binigay
yung
ng
mga, may
ating-
mga permit procedures
Yes.
sila.
Unlike with social media, this can be accessed by different people. It can be accessed by a high school student. It can be accessed by a college student, a professional, or even the senior citizens. So they have different understanding of the law, and some are not aware of the limits given by the government with regard to the freedom of speech. So what they understand, most people understand that they have this freedom to express themselves, but they do not know the limits and regulations that this certain right is not absolute.
Okay, you have a situation now where the social media bloggers are almost, if not equal to, in terms of influence with real media. And now I'd like to shift the topic to fake news, libel, slander, and all of these other interesting things that are coming out. There is a direction right now, they're trying to craft a law to control social media by passing a fake news law. Do you think that's something that should be done, Gato?
Well, there already is a crime on the publication of false news,
Okay.
especially if it causes damage to the image of the country. And it's recently been amended to have stricter penalties in RA 10951.
So can you elaborate more on that law? What does it? If it's bad for the country, then it's punishable by that law.
If it endangers public order or it causes damage to the interest or credit of the state. It's not really a new law. It's amending the revised penal code, which has been in effect for a very long time now.
Okay, I think what's more relevant right now is
The proposed law.
Yeah, the proposed law. And
We have actually existing law as mentioned by Gato. So siguro konting revision lang with regard to the penalty. It should be higher. But we have already there in the RPC, Revised Penal Code, under Article 154, the unlawful use of means of publication and lawful utterances. And actually it was, there's also an existing law, which is
Cybercrime prevention.
Cybercrime Prevention Act, and also the presidential decree by the late Ferdinand Marcos. So it talks about the unlawful rumor mongering and spreading false information. So,
So-
if people who are watching right now can look it up and understand that there is already existing laws, there are already existing laws with regard to fake news.
But the regulations on traditional media aren't even as strict as people think, because what the MTRCB has is the power to classify. And once it passes a certain point, such as when it's pornographic, it's no longer considered protected speech, so it isn't covered by free speech. So these blogs are on the same level of free speech. There was recently a case which considered the constitutionality of the Cybercrime Prevention Act and cyber libel in general. And I think the Supreme Court in that decision protected the free speech by saying that there's a chilling effect on free speech whenever you put a penalty on free speech, on something like that, without clearly explaining the boundary. So in that case, it discussed, even though it wasn't part of the facts, that if you like a comment which might be considered libelous under the Cybercrime or Cyber Libel Act, you wouldn't be guilty of libel. They clarified it there.
okay, so both of you are not in favor of passing additional laws to control social media. Is that how you think, or?
Not really. Maybe a law that regulates, because, or more, how do you say it?
Well,
Parang
there was
more
a s- there was a sug-
elaborative on what certain limits na meron tayo on posting social media, because there are a lot of people that they're just posting whatever they want, even if it incriminate or dishonor, or it intrigues other persons.
Yeah, because all of a sudden everyone is a broadcaster. Anyone that has a phone, anyone that has a laptop, a computer is suddenly a broadcaster, because anything that he posts on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram gets broadcast, right? And some of these people have a lot of following, so that's where that's maybe that's where the responsibility. People are asking for a more responsible approach to social media. But is it possible to regulate that, or is it stepping on their freedom of speech? That's the debate right now. I think anyone who watched that Senate investigation, that Senate hearing yesterday, came away thinking, "Wow, this has to be debated more."
Anyway, I think we should invite our viewers to join our discussion.
Yes. So you can text us.
Yes, you may text us at 0947-087-379. Is that 3796?
Yes. Okay. What about the moral boundaries of social media? There are also other ills of social media, like because of social media, since kids are affected, you have no more control. Any kid that has a cell phone can access social media, and you cannot control. You won't see any disclaimer there, this is general patronage or whatever, because once a kid has a cell phone and has access to the internet, definitely. Should there be a law protecting them?
I may think it should be the responsibility of the parent.
Okay.
Why give the children that age the access to the internet, wherein they can access anything,
baka
not
mag-alboroto
social media
yung
lang,
kid.
di ba? Of course not. You can give cell phones to children where apps lang like games and all that, but it's under the obligation and responsibility of the parent.
Yeah. So do you think the state should not be the one controlling what the kids see on social media?
No, it shouldn't.
You cannot control it, because social media, it's not only limited to Philippines. It is accessed by and used by different people all over the world. We have from US, China, Japan. So
Well, studies have shown that because of social media and the internet, the average amount of sleep that each kid has been reduced by 2 hours. And so it has a psychological and physical effect on the growth of the child.
So what should the parent?
So it's the responsibility
It's
of
the
the parent.
responsibility of parent. You have to limit the child on using the phone and access niya sa internet.
Yeah, that's their choice to use it. It's their choice to purchase whatever they're accessing the social
Yes,
media on.
exactly.
Okay. What about the basic rights of the person who's expressing himself on social media? And one of the comments we heard from Mr. Nieto yesterday in the hearing was it was his opinion, even if the senators felt that it was offensive, it was his opinion that it was okay. It's his opinion. So maybe we can discuss that after the break. This very interesting topic. Don't go away. This is Tonino Abano with my guests.